For the longest while, I have wanted to see Richard Lester's Juggernaut. The idea of it just captured my imagination. I love disaster movies from the 70s, which this falls into it firmly. It has a great cast. We've got Richard Harris, Omar Sharif, Anthony Hopkins, Ian Holmes, David Hemmings. A great cast. And it's all about the SS Britannica, a ship which has had 7 bombs planted on it. Now, of course, nobody really knows that. It's setting sail. Once it's out into open waters, they're contacted by a mad bomber telling them that there are several bombs on there. To prove his point, he's going to set one off, and then they have a certain amount of time to get him a certain amount of money.
I trust this will cause no serious personal injury.
And that puts the time constraint on this film. We have Anthony Hopkins in London trying to chase down the bad guy. We've got Richard Harris on the boat trying to disarm the bombs any way that he possibly can. And it is a almost documentary-like, in-the-face thriller where you spend time with these two factions trying to hunt down either how to disarm the bomb, how to capture the bomber. And then you kind of jump in between the passengers in the ship as we get to know these people, as we get to understand whose lives are at stake and what they're like, and why we kind of care for them and want them to survive, which I really enjoyed.
The situation in London is that Scotland Yard has got the investigation well in hand. Now, if there are any questions.
Now, this one for me, I think personally it was all about Richard Harris. Anthony Fallon, the bomb disposal expert, was a wonderful character. Some man who is just tenacious, who will not let go, who refuses to allow this mad bomber to win. And it's his kind of arc that I was most interested in, because it felt like this was one of those kind of characters that would fight to the end. He was either going to blow himself up or he was going to stop the bomb, but regardless, he was not leaving this situation. And that kind of tenacity and reluctance and almost fighting back against the powers to do the job that he was brought in for was such a great performance.
I'm going to cut the blue wire, and my lads will wait. And if I go in the wrong way, they'll know what to do.
That's just my favourite character in the film. The standout here is the director Richard Lester, who takes his time in really building the tension with some great editing, with some great choices, focusing on certain story elements to show the kind of foot chase in London, and then this kind of slowed down, patient approach of the bomb disposal to the sort of wayward antics of the crew and the passengers as they slowly start to realise that things are happening. They're in a situation they might want to be in. There's a wonderful moment where they have a kind of party to try and alleviate the stress that's going on. But how do you alleviate the stress of a ticking time bomb? And everybody there is just going through the motions, not enjoying it, just hoping to get by. And it's such a wonderful sequence that I just found to be terrifically well done. That idea of just imminent destruction and trying to have one last say hurrah, but to be honest, there's a giant bomb on this boat, or several of them.
Overlook the fact that I'll be just like all the others. Shit scared.
Maybe all we want to do now is to hold each other.
Juggernaut was a terrific 70s disaster film. I really wish I had seen it earlier than what I had. This is definitely a way better version than what Speed 2 tried to do. This is just a far more entertaining film with some great performances from terrific actors who know exactly what they're doing. Again, I really enjoyed this one. It was such a fun ride to go on. Let's dive into the disc, have a look at the extras. Here we are in the disc for Juggernaut. We have the film with the LPCM 2.0 dual mono. We have an audio commentary with Melanie Williams and James Leggett. Down with the Ship, Sheldon Hall on Juggernaut is 20 minutes 17 seconds, and he kind of talks about how this is a disaster movie that's not a disaster movie, how it doesn't fit into the spate of 70s disaster movies that were out, and explains some of the differences and why it's not. Next we have All Hands on Deck, Neil Sinyard on Juggernaut. This is 27 minutes 33 seconds, and among other things he focuses on the making of the film, particularly how Richard Lester was brought in with very few weeks to prep this, how everything was already put in place, 3 of the stars were sorted, the script was a bit of a mess, and just how he kind of threw himself into this one, which was really interesting. There is also a stills gallery and the original theatrical trailer as well. And that's the extras for Juggernaut. There we have it. Juggernaut is out now. Thoroughly recommend. I would love to know your thoughts on this film. If you've seen it, let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it, fall somewhere in the middle. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box are links to Patreon membership program, manvfilm.com, always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.